The Singapore Grand Prix was supposed to be the crowning moment of McLaren's resurgence, a night race under the lights, a Constructors' Championship sealed, and celebrations to mark one of the most impressive turnarounds in recent Formula One memory. But instead of a united garage basking in glory, the headlines shifted towards something much darker, a growing rift inside the team, sparked by a dramatic first-lap incident between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri that has ignited internal tensions
Into his teammate, and that's a pretty job of avoiding.
and sent alarm bells ringing throughout the paddock. It all started just seconds after the lights went out. As the field funneled into the tight corners of the Marina Bay circuit, Norris lunged aggressively down the inside line. Piastri, caught between the wall and his teammate, was forced wide, narrowly avoiding contact, but losing positions and momentum. Over team radio, Piastri's reaction was immediate and scathing. "Is that how we're racing now?" he snapped, his tone clipped with disbelief.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't very team-like, but sure.
The implication was clear. This wasn't just hard racing. This was a teammate putting his own race ahead of the team's best interests. And worse, McLaren didn't seem to care.
Oscar will have the opportunity to review together afterwards. Focus on this race, mate.
While the team quickly shifted focus to maintaining race pace and managing strategy, the tension didn't fade. In fact, it simmered. Piastri's radio remained terse, cold. Even as Norris charged forward and McLaren tightened their grip on the Constructors' title, the young Australian seemed more and more isolated. That isolation became impossible to ignore post-race. In what should have been a moment of team-wide celebration, Piastri was distant, uninterested. When CEO Zak Brown came over the radio to congratulate both drivers, Piastri offered only a single word before cutting the conversation short.
Oscar, back-to-back champions. Good race, tough race. Thank you for...
It didn't take long for fans and journalists to start connecting the dots. In the post-race footage, Norris was surrounded by smiling engineers and jubilant celebrations, while Piastri stood to the side, helmet still on, expression unreadable. The body language told a story louder than any press release. This wasn't a team celebrating together. This was a team divided. The FIA's decision not to investigate the Lap 1 incident only made things worse. To many, it felt like validation of Norris's actions and a signal that McLaren had no intention of holding either driver accountable internally. But if that was the hope, to smooth things over by saying nothing, it backfired. Because by staying silent, the team left a vacuum that was quickly filled by speculation, frustration, and comparisons to some of F1's most infamous internal rivalries. Journalists were quick to liken the situation to Mercedes in 2016, when the Hamilton-Rosberg rivalry tore through the team's harmony and nearly derailed their dominance. Others pointed to Red Bull's 2010 season, when Weber and Vettel's infamous multi-21 moment shattered any illusion of internal unity. In both cases, the teams were successful. In both cases, they were undone, not by speed or strategy, but by ego and fractured relationships. And now, many are asking whether McLaren is heading down the same path. For Piastri, the timing of all this couldn't be worse. After a breakout rookie season and an increasingly competitive sophomore campaign, he had established himself not just as a talented prospect, but as a future world champion in the making. His qualifying performances have rivaled Norris's. His racecraft has matured. And most importantly, he's stayed quiet, professional, and consistent. Until now. That's what makes his reaction in Singapore so striking. This isn't a hot-headed outburst from an inexperienced driver. It's the culmination of a season's worth of tension. Sources close to the team have begun to whisper that this wasn't an isolated flashpoint, that ever since McLaren's upgrades pushed them into regular podium contention, the internal balance has started to shift, that Norris, long the team's golden boy and the face of their brand, has naturally become the focus of development, that engineering meetings increasingly favor his feedback, that strategy discussions lean toward maximizing his outcomes. And while none of that is explicitly against the rules, it's enough to create the perception of favoritism. And in Formula One, perception is everything. What makes this so dangerous is that it's happening in a team that's already under pressure. McLaren's rapid rise has caught rivals off guard, but it's also forced the team to adapt quickly. Managing two top-tier drivers is a new challenge for Andrea Stella and Zach Brown. Until recently, McLaren could afford to back Norris without consequence. But now, with both drivers regularly in the top 6, every strategy call, every pit stop, every radio message matters. And when the margins are that thin, even a hint of unequal treatment can become a full-blown crisis. It's not just the on-track incidents that raise eyebrows. Paddock insiders have pointed to a growing divide behind the scenes. Engineering debriefs that used to be shared are now reportedly more fragmented. Media obligations have seen Norris pushed front and center, while Piastri often remains in the background. Even sponsorship activations, where both drivers are contractually obligated to appear, have reportedly seen an imbalance in representation. Whether intentional or not, these differences add up. They chip away at trust. And once that trust is gone, it's almost impossible to repair. Adding fuel to the fire are rumors of interest from rival teams. Reports have surfaced that Red Bull, ever the opportunists, are said to be monitoring the situation closely, with Laurent Mekies reportedly impressed by Piastri's performance in high-pressure situations. Even Mercedes, though still banking on Andrea Kimi Antonelli for the future, have been mentioned as potential suitors should the team dynamic at McLaren implode. For now, Piastri remains committed to McLaren. Publicly, he's downplayed the incident. In interviews, he's emphasized the team's success and avoided direct criticism. But behind the scenes, there are signs that his patience is wearing thin. The cool demeanor, the clipped answers, the refusal to engage in celebratory gestures all point to a driver who feels unheard. And in the high-stakes world of Formula One, being unheard is a dangerous place to be. Lando Norris, for his part, has been equally quiet. He's defended his move in Singapore as hard but fair racing. He's refused to engage in gossip about favoritism. But silence isn't always neutral. In the absence of a clear apology or show of unity, many see his posture as one of entitlement, of knowing the team will back him regardless. Whether that's true or not is almost irrelevant. What matters is how it's perceived. And right now, a growing segment of fans and media believe McLaren is no longer a team of equals. The team's leadership now faces a crucial crossroads. They can continue to downplay the situation, hoping that time and results will smooth things over. Or they can confront the issue head-on, reaffirm their commitment to both drivers, enforce internal parity, and ensure that future incidents are addressed with transparency and fairness. The path they choose could define the next chapter of their championship campaign. Because make no mistake, this is a championship-caliber team. The car is fast, the upgrades are working, and both drivers are capable of winning races. But as history has shown time and again, no amount of raw pace can overcome internal collapse. If McLaren doesn't get ahead of this tension now, it won't just cost them podiums. It could cost them the very culture they've spent years rebuilding. This isn't just a story about two teammates. It's a story about power, perception, and the fine line between healthy rivalry and destructive division. And as McLaren celebrates one of their greatest achievements in years, they may also be laying the groundwork for one of their greatest challenges. So what do you think? Has McLaren just stumbled into a full-blown civil war? Or is this just a bump on their road to glory? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next big twist in Formula One.